Bogota's Calm Line is confronting machismo one call at a time. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. This is lesson number 415 of Plain English. 415 is easy to remember. It's the telephone area code of San Francisco, California. JR is the producer. He has produced every one of our 415 lessons, believe it or not, and he has uploaded all of today's materials to plainenglish.com/415. Coming up today, a hotline to help men manage the feelings that can lead to abuse. It's the newest idea in the battle against domestic violence. Bogota's Calm Line has already helped thousands of callers control their feelings of jealousy. In today's lesson, you'll hear about why the Colombian capital introduced this helpline and what callers can expect when they dial it up. Later in the lesson, we'll talk about the English expression root cause, and it's Thursday, so JR has selected a song of the week. Let's get going. Machismo is a Spanish word that roughly translates to exaggerated masculine behavior, strong masculine pride, or the idea that men must be the dominant gender. It's an attitude shared by many men around the world, certainly not just in Latin America. According to this attitude, men are providers, protectors, strong, and self-sufficient. Very well, but all too often, this mindset mutates into uncontrollable jealousy and rage on the inside, and it leads to physical, sexual, emotional, and verbal abuse toward women. Most efforts at solving the problem of domestic abuse focus on the victims, who, in all cultures, are overwhelmingly women. But the city of Bogota, the capital of Colombia, is adding another tactic, counseling the men who feel overcome by emotions of jealousy and rage in their relationships. The objective is to help prevent domestic violence in the first place by helping men understand and address the root causes of abuse. In many places, domestic violence is more prevalent in more rural areas. But in Colombia, the problem is worse in the capital city, home to about 8 million people. A recent study found that in Bogota, 2/3 of family violence was within a couple, and over half of those cases were due to jealousy. What's more, 3/4 of those incidents could have been prevented if the man had known how to manage his emotions. That same study also found that half of the boys in Bogota grew up without their father at home, and one official added grimly that often, when a father is present, he's violent. Those findings are one reason why Claudia Lopez, the first woman and openly gay mayor of Bogota, made confronting machismo culture a priority of her administration. Her administration launched the Calm Line as a pilot program in December and began promoting it with a YouTube series called Calm, in which 4 friends struggle with masculine attitudes and domestic life. Public awareness campaigns urge men to call the line when they're feeling overcome with emotion. If you suspect that jealous men prone to abuse, wouldn't call a hotline, you have company. Even one of the psychologists at the Calm Line doubted anyone would call. After the line opened, though, he was surprised. Since the program started at the beginning of this year, over 2,000 men have called. Most of them call in moments of distress, such as when they feel overcome with jealousy. All have gotten some initial counseling, but about 200 have taken advantage of the 10 one-on-one telephone counseling sessions, which are free to anyone who calls. The only requirement is that the callers must be willing to examine their emotions, thoughts, and attitudes. When they first call the local number, callers are greeted by a man's voice saying, "Welcome to Calm, the support line for men. We're here to listen and to give you guidance." A few moments later, callers are connected to a trained psychologist. The staffers are both men and women. A local government official said that after an initial pilot program, the line showed positive results among the people who called. He said that the men who call feel better, learn to express themselves constructively, and have even adjusted their behavior to prevent incidents of violence. One 31-year-old caller explained it this way to the BBC. He said, "I was turning into a man that I never wanted to be." But after talking to a psychologist on the Calm Line, he learned that jealousy was a normal emotion that everyone feels, and the key is to be able to manage it. Bogota's city government has a long tradition of using creative initiatives to solve societal problems. Previous efforts have focused on getting people to cross the street using a crosswalk, wear seatbelts, and conserve water at home. The Calm Line, which costs just $300,000 per year, continues that tradition of creative public services. Plus, soon Bogota will open a new kind of school called Men in Care, designed to show men how to appropriately take care of their homes, their children, and their partners. I like this idea. I would have been one of the skeptics. This sounds like the sort of counseling that would be given because of a court order as punishment. But thousands of people have called voluntarily, which is great progress. The quote that really stood out to me was the caller who said he was turning into someone he never wanted to be. And now in Bogota, they have created a way to help individuals course correct. Good for them. Today's English expression is root cause. The root cause of an issue is the earliest or most basic cause of an event or behavior. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say at work, a supervisor asks an employee to stay 30 minutes late one day to finish a project, and the employee decides he can't take it anymore, and he quits the job on the spot. You might be tempted to say the reason the employee quit is because his supervisor asked him to stay another 30 minutes. But is that really the root cause? Is that the beginning of the issue? Do you think someone would really quit their job because of 30 minutes? Probably not, right? The real reason might be that the employee doesn't feel appreciated, or the supervisor routinely doesn't respect people's time, or that they already had a poor relationship. That one last 30-minute request might appear like it's the real reason, but the root cause, the real reason going back to the beginning, is something much bigger. In many situations, there are proximate causes and root causes. The proximate cause is the last thing that happens. In our example, the proximate cause was the supervisor's request for 30 minutes of extra work. But the root cause is deeper, more serious, and goes back farther in time. Well, it's not just a theoretical example. In the US, a lot of people are leaving their jobs. There's even a term for it here, the Great Resignation. Why are people leaving their jobs in such great numbers? Some people say it's because people want to continue working from home, but their bosses want them in the office, so employees quit. Others think that people have saved so much money during the pandemic, so employees have more savings, and that's the reason that they quit. But I suspect these are not the root causes. I suspect that these are not the deepest, most important reasons. Here's what I think. I think many people have long been unfulfilled in their jobs. I think that a lot of people have been going in, punching the clock, and collecting a paycheck, but they haven't been happy. And I think people want to feel connected to their work, especially after the last 18 months. Work at home, extra savings, the pandemic, these things may have started the trend of people leaving their jobs, but I have a feeling the root causes are bigger, that people have felt unfulfilled in their jobs, especially at large companies. Well, what are the root causes of domestic violence? There are a lot of opinions on this. In Bogota, they believe that one of the root causes is this machismo tradition and the inability of men to manage their emotions, especially jealousy. Now, one way to address the root cause is to provide men with counseling to help manage these emotions. The Calm Line won't solve the problem of domestic violence by itself, but at least it's attempting to address the root cause. What is the root cause of stress? It's tempting to say that you feel stressed because you have too much to do, too many phone calls to make, lots of responsibility, not enough time. But the root cause of stress is probably bigger. The root cause of your stress might be difficulty in managing your time or priorities. For others, the root cause of stress might be more emotional, such as feeling like they have to do everything and not feeling comfortable asking for help. I recently saw a show on TV called Bar Rescue. In each episode, an expert in the hospitality industry goes into a failing bar and restaurant. He analyzes the situation, analyzes the business, and helps turn things around. In one episode, the bar is losing money, and the owner was forced to give up his house to save the business. All the while, the employees were stealing from the bar by overpouring drinks or giving out free shots and taking home big tips in the process. Well, what is the root cause of the problem? It's not the free shots on any given night. The root cause is that there was no supervision of the bartenders, and the owner failed to set boundaries between himself and his employees. The team was taking advantage, and that was the root cause of the owner's problems. JR's Song of the Week is Sea Cruise by Robert Gordon. You know, vinyl is making a comeback. People like playing records on vinyl, traditional records. Some people insist that music sounds better on vinyl. I am not one of those people. But JR was at a restaurant where they were playing this song on vinyl, and he really liked it. So he chose it for today's Song of the Week, Sea Cruise by Robert Gordon. You can find it on Spotify or on an old-fashioned LP. The Great Resignation is not affecting plain English. We will be here for you every week on Monday and Thursday year round. No vacations either. This is a great time to say thanks to all the people who make Plain English a success week in and week out. Madeline and Dana help with the content. Then we have our translators. They produce the translations of the keywords and phrases on the website. That's part of the Plain English Plus membership. Our translators are Tao, Paola, Cody, Valeria, Katrine, Melissa, Yoko, and Shemeswav. Tao and Paola have been here almost since the very beginning, too. And of course, JR, who does so much behind the scenes, editing audio, video, managing the website content, email, newsletters, all that stuff. So a big thanks to everyone on the Plain English team. We do take vacations, I should clarify. We just work around them so that we can bring you new content every week. Well, that's all for today. You can see the handiwork of the entire team at plainenglish.com. We'll be back on Monday with a new lesson. See you then.